Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the year 2023. And at the time we're recording this, 6 days in, it's already been a heck of a year for the world of pro wrestling. Good day, everyone. I am Jeremy Graves, and I am joined by the Dekker Dane, Mr. Ian Bolton. You are listening to BunkaMania, the pro wrestling podcast. Today, we're going to have a little bit of a fun discussion, as it were, a bit more of some short-form content, which we talked about last year. For those of you who watch the videos or listen to the podcast, I want to try and do a bit more in the short content variety so we can get more to you, perhaps in more rapid succession. Good sir, first of all, Happy New Year. How are you doing?
Happy New Year. I am doing lovely. Hope you had a great festive holiday. And as well to all our listeners and viewers, hoped you had a lovely Christmas break. Lots to kind of unwind and enjoy, I suppose. There were presents, there were mince pies, there was alcohol and all that sort of stuff, and wrestling, and of course wrestling. It's not Christmas without wrestling. I mean,
I've watched so much wrestling.
the Miracle on 34th Street fight was silly, strange bollocks on WWE, and it was fun. But anyway, yes.
I've watched a lot of Japanese wrestling, but that's a discussion for another time. That said, that will partially link into what we're going to talk about, because some of you may recall that around October last year, that being 2022, just for point of reference, to make sure I don't say we're still in that year, little side note for Jeremy himself there, we did some predictions for the remaining quarter of the year, October through December. So we decided, you know what? Let's do the prediction thing. Some other people are doing it, but we wanted to get in on that train as well. But what we're going to do before we make some 2023 predictions, Ian, is we are going to look back at what were our Q4 2022 predictions. Are you ready for this?
I have no idea what I said.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do it sort of one after the other, as it were. So I'll do my first one, then your first one. We'll sort of go that way. So my first prediction was, before the end of 2022, the Usos will lose the tag team titles. I elaborated by saying, this will be the catalyst for something big happening in the bloodline. After the loss, the Usos will have an arranged rematch for the titles on SmackDown. But Jay will be really angry at Sami Zayn, resulting in him not showing up, leading Jimmy and Sami teaming up to win the tag titles.
Well, that didn't happen, did it? They hugged out in the War Game structure. They hugged it out, Jeremy.
The only thing technically that I could say was correct about that prediction is that there was certainly a catalyst for something big happening in the bloodline, but otherwise that's the only part of that prediction at all that happened.
So out of a score of 10, you get 1. Is what you're trying to say.
At best, I get like a 0.5. That's all I'm giving myself for
half
that,
a point.
if anything.
Half a point. I like that.
But I do like, in hindsight, I did like my gumption of what I predicted.
Because obviously with the Sami Zayn stuff, obviously it's still one of the best things in WWE at the moment. It's kind of where they go with it. And I think a lot of us were kind of expecting the dominoes to start falling for Sami or for someone else in the bloodline around the end of 2022. Hasn't happened. And we keep thinking it's going to happen maybe tonight, time recording on SmackDown, the first one of 2023. Might happen at the Rumble. Oof.
So on that notion, of which, for point of reference, we're recording this on like 7 p.m. UK time on the 6th of January, just to say that out loud. So your first prediction, Ian, was Sami Zayn will be kicked out of the bloodline before the end of 2022. You elaborated by saying there's only so long you can tease something, and I think something might happen at War Games that might facilitate that.
Something did happen at War Games, so half a point. Yeah, no, that it's like I'm not too sad that I got that mostly wrong, or pretty much entirely wrong. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's like, again, I just said it, it's like, it is one of the best storylines going in WWE right at the moment. Sami Zayn's doing excellent work. Reigns is doing excellent work. Everyone in the bloodline is doing excellent work. So if it wasn't happening then, that's fine. They've at least kept it going with potential sort of things. Now, because we now moved into the thing of Roman starting to get a little bit irked of Sami getting the Sami chance now. So it's kind of like he's tolerated Sami. He's welcomed Sami as an honorary Uso. He's a member of the bloodline. But now they're chanting for Sami and not for Roman. So that's the seeds. Those are the slow catalyst seeds of, yeah, Sami's in trouble. And it's going to be nasty when it happens. It really will be.
It's funny you mention that, because within that thought that you had for that prediction, you also, make sure to note this down, you also said that your dream scenario, if it's not Rock or Cody, it's that Sami takes the belt from Roman at Mania. You kind of said that as like a general, longer-lasting forethought.
A lot of the wrestling influencers or YouTubers, and even people I know in my little social circles who know about the Sami and the Roman storyline, it's like it makes sense from a narrative perspective that Sami is the one. Sami should be the one to take the belts. It probably might not happen, but again, at the moment with the current creative team, asterisks next to that, by the way, you never know. You never know. The current creative team, if they're still in place by Mania, and obviously we will talk about that in the other video, there might be a link for it down below. If the current creative team's still in place and they're observing how popular Sami is with fans, I mean, he was incredibly popular at Crown Jewel, and he wasn't even at Crown Jewel. You sense that the creative team might go, you know what? We've got lightning here. We've got something that's really special, and we could do something really special here if we do it right. So there is that possibility. There is that possibility still there. Will it happen? I'm kind of 60-40. It probably won't.
When it comes to prediction at number 2, I said Jade Cargill before the end of the year will lose the TBS title to Willow Nightingale by pinfall. That has not happened. I do think we are getting to the point soon where Jade will get pinned, though. Just for point of reference, at the time we're recording this, it does feel we're getting to that point. I
think probably, maybe not before, but maybe at Revolution. I was going to say, it depending on the type of match, it might be a multi-person match or something like that. I think there's opportunities to take the belt off Jade, possibly without the means of her taking a pin, to keep that mystique going, I suppose, and the streak going. But yeah, I can see the belt leaving not in the immediate future, but I would be surprised if we get halfway through this year and she's still TBS champion.
Gotta say that on the Seattle Dynamite that aired earlier this week, she looked phenomenal. Like, her performance and everything, she just looked so freaking dominant and amazing. It was just like, yeah, you know what? Make her just destroy people. That's fun. I'm all for that. So, your second prediction, Ian, by the end of 2022, Ring of Honor will have an actual show with an actual home, be it streaming or TV, and that they will take some of their belts off of AEW programming. A new home was announced, that being the Honor Club. We've not actually had any of the belts defended or really given any focus since Final Battle. We've seen Samoa Joe wear the TV title. We've seen Claudio wear the world title and Wheeler Yuta wear the pure title. They've not actually been defended or actually had any focus put on them. So with that being said, I think you can have a point for that, because inherently you predicted correctly that would happen, though that hasn't technically officially started, as it were. But I think you can have that. In my personal opinion, that's a point for you.
Okay. I'll take that.
So, okay, this is a little bit of a side note prediction, but I was going to defer this to you to decide whether it was going to be counted or not. While I was talking about the Jade Cargill prediction that I made, I randomly mentioned that another prediction I was going to make, but probably won't happen no matter how much I want it to, is that Jamie Hayter would be the AEW Women's Champion before the end of the year, but it was never actually made as an official prediction.
You can have a point. You can have a point. It's fine.
There you go. Good job, past Jeremy. Good job. So, your next prediction: by the end of 2022, Sheamus will defeat Gunther for the IC title.
Now, it's going to be Braun.
Next up from me was that Survivor Series will heavily feature NXT talent like it did a few years ago when there was a literal Team NXT in the Survivor Series match. That did not happen.
Did not happen, but a lot of main roster talent have decided to have a little visit over to NXT, especially the New Day, who are currently the NXT Tag Team Champions.
It was a great match that they won the titles in as well, quite frankly.
Deadline, side tangent, very quickly. Deadline, I thought, was a very good show, and I generally enjoy the Iron Survivor Challenge matches. It needs a little bit of work, but they are really good concepts at the moment.
Another prediction that you made, And I will preface this by saying you literally said very left field and very wishful thinking. You wanted the main roster shows to have their own stages and music. A bit more individuality was how I summed it up. You then also added that you really wanted themed staging for premium live events to be back at those shows.
Well, after War Games, we still haven't had themed staging. No, I mean, well, the SmackDown music has changed. It's no longer Are You Ready by AC/DC. It has changed to rap.
Did that happen before the end of 2022?
It did.
Okay, I don't watch the show, so I can't vouch for it. So my final prediction I made was that FTR would be quadruple champions, adding the AEW tag team titles to their pot. Quite frankly, it would be history making and would look amazing. I was so gutted. When they lost that tag title match to the Acclaimed. I was so gutted. And what's happened now, actually, given they've got no more titles on them, it's like, you know what?
No more belts. No more belts, Jeremy. No more belts.
They had the chance. It was so close, but it would have been great if that had happened. So your final prediction was, and I'm going to be very specific in how I word this to make sure we clarify, we might see another debut in WWE, but from a promotion we've not thought about. Like, for example, from the NWA. Someone completely brand new rather than a return. Someone like Nick Aldis, as an example.
Well, Nick Aldis is apparently now a free agent from the start of the year. So that could still happen in 2023.
Those were our predictions for the remainder of 2022. And let's call it like it is. We both got like a point each at best. But that said, I thought our predictions were really good fun and actually not that far-fetched either. What we're going to do, folks, 2023 predictions. We decided we're going to go with 3 each to keep it a bit more streamlined, as it were. Some of these might be completely pie-in-the-sky ideas. Some of these might be the most, logical things that could happen. But this is what we're going with. So, sir, I will defer to you. Do you want to go first or second?
I will go first. And this is a WWE related one.
Okay.
I think the undisputed WWE Universal Championship will not be split, and a brand new Raw Head Championship will be introduced instead.
Okay. So technically a third belt.
Well, no, I think eventually they will finally merge them back into one belt of the undisputed WWE Championship. I have a sense, because another thing is at the moment, I have a feeling they might be doing that maybe with the ladies as well, with the Women's Championship, because Charlotte Flair came back at the end of the year. She beat Ronda Rousey for the belt very quickly, is now a champion, and you kind of sense that they might do Belair versus Flair at Mania, which will be an amazing match. But part of me also thinks it might be title for title, and I think they might be kind of not title for title, but just unify them again.
Yeah, the unification.
Because it's like they've not really pulled them apart, the tag teams or the undisputed or the not the undisputed, the Universal or WWE Championship. So it's kind of like they've made no kind of emphasis. I mean, if Cody really wants the WWE Championship and he doesn't want Universal and he just goes, I just want the WWE Championship, maybe that's your way you split them. But part of me, I think the longer the reigns go on, especially for undisputed WWE Universal and undisputed tag teams, the more I feel those belts are not splitting again. And eventually we'll get a divide. I think for the time being, until I think the Bloodline get toppled, they're just going to wear 2 belts for a while. And eventually whoever does topple them will go, I've merged them into one normal looking belt.
Okay, well, my first prediction, I'm throwing a Hail Mary, to use an American football term here. CM Punk returns to AEW. I'm just going with that as a blanket statement. I don't know in what capacity. I'm going to stress that. I don't know whether it'll be as a wrestler, whether it may just be as an on-air personality, but in some way, shape, or form, CM Punk will be back on television in AEW. That is my prediction.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's more chance of him going back to AEW than probably turning up in WWE. That's
especially given the latest news about Vince McMahon, let's say.
Yeah. So I would not be surprised to see him. Would I want to see him? I think All Out has damaged the sparkle a little bit of CM Punk. I think CM Punk would probably have to go some way to kind of quash the madness that was the All Out brawl.
There is certainly a lot of baggage that needs to be worked through.
But I would not be surprised if it happened.
And it might be, again, that might be another topic that we do for a separate video, because that's certainly a topic we could dive into fairly deeply on that and give our own thoughts on that more in depth. So, sir, with that in mind, what is your prediction number 2 for 2023?
Prediction number 2 for me for 2023. As much as obviously Honor Club is there designed to do the weekly show for Ring of Honor, I don't think Ring of Honor is going to get a TV deal, and maybe it just becomes online only, period. With obviously the pay-per-views being available on places like Fight and Bleacher Report and stuff like that. It's just, I know a lot of people have wanted to see a TV deal for Ring of Honor, and again, Warner Brothers Discovery is a weird place at the moment. I mean, AEW is continuing to do okay, and that's fine. I mean, Dynamite's doing well. Rampage is kind of, it's becoming more and more kind of not necessarily vital unless a certain match pops up. Because I haven't really watched a lot of Rampage over the last couple of months, to be perfectly honest. But no, I can see Ring of Honor restarting on Honor Club, but I think it will really just stay on Honor Club. It's like, as much in the ideal world, like, I think AEW fans seeing like AEW on one channel and then Ring of Honor on there. But it's kind of like with Raw and SmackDown. As much as I think people would love to see that, I don't think it's happening. I think Ring of Honor stays online.
So I'm going to do another Hail Mary here, as it were. And arguably, it's not necessarily a positive one, but I'm just going to call it like it is. Given the current musings about Vince McMahon returning to WWE at the time we're recording this, there will be a separate video on this. If it's not already up by the time you're seeing this, feel free to go and watch it as needed. I am going to say Vince McMahon's presence, whatever that ultimately is in the context of what this is, will cause a high-profile talent to leave/walk out of WWE. So effectively, Vince being back makes a high-profile talent quit or leave.
That would not surprise me. It generally would not surprise me, considering how well morale has been over the last couple of months since Vince has gone. Yeah, if Vince goes anywhere near creative, there's a powder keg there. And I think if it does, I think the product suffers, and I think this time real damage is going to be done.
Yeah, agreed completely.
Yeah.
So yeah, short and sweet from me, quite frankly, and like I said, not necessarily a positive one, but that's just what I think. So, sir, prediction number 3. What say you for the year 2023?
I'm going to be fun. I'm going to inject this with a little bit of fun. You know, WWE and Crunchyroll have a deal to make an anime. That anime is going to come out this year, and it's going to be good. Holy crap.
I completely forgot that was a thing.
They announced in April 2021 that they had teamed up with Crunchyroll to produce original animated content for the platform. WWE focused, whatever the storyline it was, they didn't really make much sort of like information. But I think this is the year we get a glimpse of it in some form, and people will actually like it.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think that's a very fair prediction.
God, you could do like a cool like fighting crime anime in the bloodline, like a proper like mafia or something like that in a town or something like that, and heroes from across the country, like a rogue traveling Kevin Owens anime character.
It's basically Street Fighter is what I'm hearing.
It's Street Fighter meets a Magnificent Seven. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right now. Book it.
That's an awesome prediction.
I'm generally just saying that now. It is Street Fighter meets the Magnificent Seven. I think it's a beautiful idea, to be perfectly honest.
Sounds great. I completely forgot that was announced because literally nothing more has been mentioned of it.
Yeah.
A lot of things take time to develop, and you know what? You've got 12 months. It's a long time in the production cycle of things, so it's entirely possible. My final prediction. It's very simple. Assuming there is a Forbidden Door 2 event, The main event and or highly featured match will be Kenny Omega v Will Ospreay 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
There you go. And it'll probably be just as freaking crazy as the Tokyo Dome match, quite frankly.
And a death match as well. Let's just throw it in there. Let's make it a death match.
Make it an exploding barbed wire death match. Just go all out, you know.
Electric barbed wire death match, so we can really sell the Electric Boogaloo. We'll put it on t-shirts.
Hey, I'd buy a t-shirt that said Forbidden Door 2 Electric Boogaloo, you know?
It's just Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay just looking like they've both been shot going, ah!
It will just be that image of Kenny Omega's face from the Tokyo Dome looking through the table going, here's Kenny!
No. It's like the Back to the Future image. You know, with like Marty and the Doc just look at the times, but basically it's like, I don't know, one of them's giving the other one in a chokehold and they're both being shocked at the same time. So they're both with like their shocked, ah! Book it, New Japan! Book it!
But yeah, to me, I think there's a lot of talk a Forbidden Door 2 event is going to happen of some kind. To me, given how much international drive that match alone brought people to the Wrestle Kingdom 17 event from a couple of days ago, I think you put that match on an American pay-per-view, that not only will sell the place out in a heartbeat, it's also going to make people want to see it badly. Because of how ridiculously good and arguably far too good that match was, purely from a how the hell are they going to top it point of view.
Yeah, the back pocket prediction I was going to make was that Forbidden Door 2 would happen, but it was going to happen in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we could get the Tokyo Dome.
Mate, do you know what? If Forbidden Door 2 was going to happen in Japan, I might go to Japan and watch it. I'm not even lying. Like, I'd save the money as quick as I could and just go, you know what? Sod it. I'll do it. Book it.
It probably will work out cheaper than going to see Money in the Bank at the O2.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Cost of living, everybody in the UK, but hey-ho. So, folks, that's going to wrap up this prediction video talk. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching here on the BunkaMania Wrestling Podcast. Good sir, anything else before we wrap up this prediction video?
Well, before we go, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, so that way you find out when BunkaMania comes back to YouTube as soon as it happens. And you can always... And as well, you can email us. So why not super kick us an email to bunkamania@bunkerzilla.co.uk. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to hear your predictions for 2023 and what you're looking forward to the most.
And of course, be sure to post in the comments below if you've got any predictions or if you think any of our predictions in particular are completely insanely nonsensical, or you think that we are going to be a good prognosticator. Let us know. And then this time next year, let's see how foolish or we were or weren't. With that being said, from myself, the giraffe, and me, Jeremy Graves, from him, the Dekker, Mr. Ian Bolton, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Speak to you soon.